Hello and welcome back to Off Script, your podcast where we chat about all things reality TV, and at the moment our brains, our minds, our souls are being consumed by Married at First Sight because it's Intimacy Week and it's all happening. So before I get into it, I just want to quickly touch on some huge news from today, which is the fact that the expert Mel is leaving the show after 12 seasons. She has been along for the ride for so long, and yes, this is her last season, so it will be such a shock to be watching the show next year with a different person in that seat, I guess, unless they just go down to 2 experts, but you would assume there'd be 3 on the couch there. So who knows who they're going to replace her with. If you don't know, she's had a lot of health battles recently. She was diagnosed with cancer. So I can understand why it's the right time for her to step back from that role. It's obviously such a big show, so it must be all-consuming when you're filming and when it's on. So I wish her so much happiness and health and, post-MAFS success. In her statement, she said, "This hasn't been a choice that I've made lightly in recent years. My health challenges and living in the UK, spending up to 3 months a year away from my family is no longer sustainable. It's become clear that I must make a change that puts my family, health, and time at the very centre of my life. What began as a small social experiment has grown into a global phenomenon, and I have felt truly privileged to be part of the journey. And I'm incredibly grateful to the fans, the production team, and my fellow experts for their trust and passion over the years." So she's also said in her statement here that I look forward to continuing my work with Married at First Sight UK. So she's just stepping away from MAFS in Australia, so you'll still be able to watch her on the show in the UK. Now, back to what was happening on the show last night. We had the first episode of Intimacy Week, which obviously started with Alessandra doing her little workshop with everyone, which I'm not sure if it's a workshop, to be honest, but she's chatting to everyone and she said, "Look, I need you to figure out what your ultimate fantasy is, and the husbands are going to engage in that, basically." And it's weird, a lot of their ultimate fantasies really revolved around either Palmer's Oil or KFC, MAFS, major sponsors. But it was a very entertaining night. We had, just skimming over Alyssa and David a lot. They're not really part of any storyline at the moment. We had Steve and Rebecca still obviously not connecting at all. After Rebecca went, shopping with Gia, got the cute little outfit, and Steve is still not engaging. So I do really feel sorry for her. She cried in the workshop and she was saying, I've been single for 8 years and I just really want that intimacy and that connection with someone. And girl, I feel you. So I don't know. It's hard because obviously coming with the cute little outfit is probably level 10, been to the sex shop, got the whip, all of that, versus Steve is coming in at a 0. So I don't know. They're going to have to figure out how to meet each other in the middle there somewhere if it is going to work out at all, which I don't think it's going to. Then the other couple that I don't think are going to work out is Rachel and Steven. Wowee, that was hard to watch. So she was saying, I want more than just a peck on the lips. I want him to kiss me like he means it. And that was kind of the most awkward television I've ever seen, of him kind of standing there. She's got the Love Actually sign up. He's standing there awkwardly with his little fringe across. His hair bothers me immensely, I must say. It's always sticking up or sticking down or doing something. Steve, we got to sort that out. Steven. Oh my God, there's too many Beck, Rebecca, Stevens. It's all very confusing. But her standing there with her kiss me sign and her eye mask on, and him, I don't know. I've seen a lot of memes about, the 40-year-old virgin and all that stuff, but yeah, I thought he was going to be like, I've never kissed someone passionately in my life. But him being like, no, I just don't want to do that. I feel like I'm your roommate. Cut hard, man. Like, tell her that before. Don't get to the point where she's like begging to have some intimacy on that level. I find it so frustrating when guys do this. They like breadcrumb you along, and then when you have to get to the point where you snap and you're like, do you like me? Do you not? Like, you're giving me attention but not enough attention. Like, that is kind of like the roughest thing ever. Like, say that you see me as a roommate and that we're just mates, like, first up, like, you know, as soon as you're feeling like that, don't like peck me and then like have to get to the point where she's saying like, please kiss me properly. Like, oh, I feel really sad for her. I feel really sad for her because she's just such a gorgeous person and like she deserves happiness. Rachel, I'm rooting for you. I'm like really hoping that you find the one. Okay, now the next couple that are in immense trouble, Grayson and Julia. I have a sneaking suspicion that Julia's getting the crazy person edit. Like, she is someone who talks a lot and uses big words, and she's like, relationships are nuanced and I'm leaning in and I'm feeling and this and that. And her thing of intimacy was just talking, which like, that's fine. But I think they're editing her to seem a bit more kooky than she actually is. Obviously, the fight about her being tired was ridiculous. Like, yeah, like it did seem like, oh, babe, like sort it out. But I don't know. She's like, I'm having a mindgasm. I'm like, that's a bit much. But I also think they're chopping it and chopping it and chopping it to make her seem maybe like 100% intensity when maybe she's like 60% intensity. But at the end of the day, if that's not how he connects and he doesn't think that like telling stories about his old footy days is like intimacy, then it's probably not going to work. Brooke and Chris, on to the next ones. Brooke and Chris, I feel like we can skip over that, like her painting his dead dog. I don't know. I'm just waiting for them to blow up at the next dinner party or commitment ceremony or whatever the hell happens for them to leave and her go get back with her ex, but not much to report on the Brooke and Chris front for today. But then we have Beck and Danny, and they're obviously making strides. And I nearly look at them sometimes and think, is he acting? Like, is he saying all this stuff just because he realised he needs to get through this experiment and this filming period and not look like a dick? With him being like, oh, she painted all those words on my body and I felt emotional and blah, blah, blah. Like, part of me just thinks he's really smart and he knows how to play the game and he's giving her what she wants just to get through it and not look like an idiot, basically. But I don't know, like I hope that he's not doing that for her sake because that would really, really hurt. But I just don't know how they've done such a flip from, you know, the chemistry perspective of things. And then we also saw little Miss Gia in her bunny costume, which I've seen reports that she like hung out with Hugh Hefner and was in like the Playboy Mansion and stuff. So I don't know if that's true or not. But she just did the classic sexy thing, which was the same as Alyssa and David, except Gia was like, do you know what's hot? Kentucky Fried Chicken. So she went with that. Alyssa went with the sponsored Palmer's coconut oil, just regular oil. So yeah, tonight we're going to see the grooms do their little workshop with Alessandra, and I guess they'll talk about what their ultimate fantasies are. So that will be, you know, eye-opening to see what they say, especially like your Steve and your Stevens of the world. So we wait with bated breath. And, oh my God, I just can't believe how quickly we're moving through MAFS. They'll be on the bloody couples retreat before we know it. But yes, until then, I will chat to you after the next episode.